Found his jersey. Somebody stole his referee's jersey right off his clothesline in Regina, Saskatchewan in November. He got a new one. He'll referee tonight. Ray Caponello and Ron Asselstein are the linesmen. Crossman handling the puck for the Islanders. Pollock is on the left side. LaFontaine and Flatley, the other members of this forward line, and immediately the Islanders have iced the puck.
Can Pat LaFontaine continue with his scoring binge? I would have to think so, the way he's playing right now, the way he seems to play all the time. Finds the open ice. It's amazing when you see good hockey players. They find the open ice. They either have the puck or they get the puck in the right places.
Face-off dot, always very prominent in telecasts out of Buffalo. Important that you see where the puck is going to be dropped, and they'll line up here where Pierre Turgeon faces off against Pat LaFontaine. Turgeon directing group in behind him a little bit. Metcalf is on the left side, and over on right wing, Kevin McGuire for Buffalo. Turgeon taking it back at Fitzpatrick. Shows some strength, gets the wraparound, then went to the forehand. The Islanders move to center. Flatley has dumped it into the Buffalo zone, and that's going to be called back again on an icing. Flatley shooting it in from about 3 feet, his own side, and the center ice strike.
Take a look at the scratches for tonight's game. For the Islanders, Dale Henry has been scratched. Richard Pilon, obviously, with the eye injury. Joe Ricci with the hand, and Brian Prache sitting out. His ribs are still bothering him. For the Buffalo Sabres, John Tucker, Mike Hartman, Ray Shepard, Larry Playfair, Jeff Parker, all scratched from the Buffalo Sabres lineup.
Some badly dressed New Year's Eve crowd here in Buffalo, except for the players. Everybody else has his best outfits on tonight.
You could say that's formal, too. It's black and white.
Brent Sutter against Turgeon on this face-off. Randy Wood and Lauer. Thanking Sutter. Sutter's pass to Lauer. Off his stick and into the Buffalo players' bench. Off to a slow start here. Played 34 seconds in the opening period.
And 3 stoppages of play. 2 icings by the Islanders, and that time a pass gets up into the bench of the Buffalo Sabres.
Look at 40-year-old Rick Dudley, head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. 31 goals for Buffalo in the 74-75 season, the year they went to Stanley Cup Finals. And look at the Islander coaching staff, Al Arbor, with all those Stanley Cup rings. Not working in his possession somewhere. Munich and Nyland on the point. Power here on the right side, runs it back to Gary Nyland. On the board, the pass is behind Wood, and he can't get it over the Buffalo blue line. Jumps over Turgeon's stick. There's Sutter, the Lauer, but the Islanders are offside. We still have not played the first minute of this opening period.
Makes you think of trying to start a car in Quebec. This doesn't want to start. The Islanders are trying hard to get things started up here, but they're sputtering along with 2 icings, an offside, and the puck deflected into the seat. They don't plan it that way. It's just the way it seems to be working out.
How cold was it in Quebec City? Wow. So cold, we saw a squirrel towing a blue jay trying to get it started.
Oh, no. Yeah, listening to the football game today, Hank Stram's line about how flat the Philadelphia Eagles were. He thought they may have had pancakes for a pregame meal.
Here's a break for the Buffalo Sabres. Good pass to McGuire, but Diddick, a flying play to come back and squeeze him off into the corner. That's Steve Ludwig, number 14 for Buffalo, trying to dig it out of there. He's able to get it to Scott Metcalf. The center one, and Rogers shot one off the side of the net. Randy Wood bears the zone, so the Sabres have to go back. Rupa tips it onto the stick of Doug Bodger up the right side for McGuire. Turned it over. Alan Kerr dropped it back. Ronstrand out on the right side of the Islander defense. Paired up with Jeff Norton at the moment. Here's Mike Ramsey. And probably the best Buffalo player game in, game out this season.
For quite a few seasons now, Tig, when you think of the contributions that Ramsey's made since he arrived here from the Olympics, 1980.
You got a piece of Norton there. The former U.S. Olympian. Norton, of course, in 88. Gildy coming down the left side, leading the Buffalo attack. Look at that move. Great swing to Rutu, and a fine save by Fitzpatrick.
Well, his first shift, he was injured against the Islanders, but not during the hockey game. It was in the warm-up. He took a shot in the ankle, if you remember. He slipped off the ice and did not play. the last time these two teams met.
Jerry King feeds one in front. Kerr was there, couldn't hold the pass. And Ruchu sends McGillney down the left side. Alexander McGillney up the shift on Crossman, and the glove save made by Fitzpatrick. This is Jerry King. 2 minutes, 45 seconds gone in the opening period. There is no score at Buffalo. Crossman handling the puck at the blue line. Left side to Baumgartner. Dumps it in. McDonough's come out of the ice with Maloney and Kerr for the Islanders. Gene Kennedy on the Buffalo defense moved it up right wing. This is Benoit Hogue trying to cut in and cannot. Crossman has given the puck to Maloney. Back to Crossman, knocked away. Maloney with it again. He gets checked. Nhl Neal dumps it out for Buffalo. Well, the Islanders, had they been able to win last night, could have moved ahead of Pittsburgh. And as it turns out, the Penguins beat the Rangers today, so the Islanders are 3 points back. There's a chance in front of the net. Arneal stuck in behind Crossman, but couldn't handle the pass. Nick Dakota fires it into the Buffalo zone. Maloney line up with Zuckerud. And Hogue has it for Buffalo, plays a long pass to Ledyard. Brent Ledyard over the Islander blue line. Pulls up on right wing. The pass is out of the reach of Arneal, and here's Diddick. Gerald Diddick. Long pass broken up by Housley. Bill Housley comes over center ice. Moves down the right wing boards in the Islander zone. Comes from back of the net. This up in. It's denied by Fitzpatrick. Roger with a long shot. Fitzpatrick to save, and there's no further play. It'll pile up at the side of the net after Fitzpatrick had made the stop. Just over 4 minutes into the opening period, there is no score.
Let's get the Boucher started.
Started and sputtered, much like the Toronto variety. It went pretty good for a little while. A lot of folks from Ontario over here to watch the Islanders. One of the few chances that members of the visiting team with relatives in nearby province get a chance to meet up. It is. The Islanders go home right after the game, so it'll be a short visit. They didn't arrive here until about 2 this morning.
Yeah, they didn't get kicked out of the hotel, did they?
No, well, they were able to come up with the funds to pay the extra freight.
Yeah, Jiggs and I walked the streets all afternoon. Here's Housley. Boy, can he skate. He handles the puck and skates so well. As he turns, Fitzpatrick just in time got his skate over. Watch the right skate of goaltender Mark Fitzpatrick. He was almost too late. Boy, that was very close as Housley, with the wraparound, it went off the skate, off the goalpost, and then bounced out away from the net.
Brent Sutter will take this face-off against Dave Andrewchuk. Pulled it back to Gronstrand. Put it in Lauer's skates from back of the net. He got away from Bodger, but couldn't find Brent Sutter, who was cruising into the slot. Now Lauer turns, lost his balance, and Bodger picks up the puck. Doug Bodger was acquired in that deal with Pittsburgh to send Tom Barrasso into Pittsburgh. Polino move it in, and the Islanders bring it right back out again. Lauer with the pass to Wood, poke checked away by Bodger. Randy Wood can't get it over the line. This is Turgeon. Turgeon, Andrewchuk, and Polino into the Islander zone. The shot blocked by Fitzpatrick, and he gives it to Brad Lauer. Lauer laid the puck off Turgeon, and now comes outside the line. There's Housley with it. It's knocked away. Lauer works it to the left side. That's Randy Wood pulling up on Mike Ramsey, and Wood gets taken into the board. Jeff Norton muscles his way along the left side, and it's tipped in front and just wide as LaFontaine was being bothered by Polino. Wood out of center ice. Gave it to Crossman. It's over center and dumps it wide of that Buffalo goal. Pupa leaving it for Troop. Dewey Troop. Got it up to Ludwig. Ludwig dumps it down into the Islanders zone, and this will be an icing call as Doug Crossman puts his stick on it. On the face-off, the puck played around the boards in the Buffalo zone. McDonough has given it to Maloney. Back to Baumgartner. Lets one go. Pad save by Pupin. It rebounded right to Ludwig's stick. Ludwig being bothered from behind by Dakota. Still able to dump it into the Islanders zone. That's Kevin McGuire. McGuire gets knocked down by McDonough. Puck comes back to Troop. He got checked by John Maloney. Ramsey drops back for Buffalo. Fruit pass goes to Metcalf. Trying to go cross ice with an off Kerr, right to Maloney. And the Sabres have to chase it. McDonough goes into forecheck. Ramsey now plays it up the right side. Now the center, Buffalo moves it on to Metcalf. He's all by himself as far as teammates. In the middle of the player change, and the puck is deflected up into the seat.
Scott Metcalf making the shot that ended up as a souvenir for the hockey fan. He was originally drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. Steve Dykstra. He was involved in that trade along with a draft pick.
He thought he'd be playing in Rochester tonight against the Springfield Indians in the American Hockey League. And all of a sudden, Mike Hartman, who was ready to come back into the lineup, twisted a knee. He wasn't able to practice full out the other day. And while Metcalf was packing his equipment and getting ready to leave, they said, wait, you're not going. Stay here.
Yeah, unpack quickly.
Ledyard holding the puck at the left point and able to dump it in. McGillney goes back to the Islander net, chased by LaFontaine. He's sent it back. The shot by Kennedy is turned aside. McGillney with it again. Trying to put it in front. LaFontaine stays with him. Puck comes off the boards. Here's Gene Kennedy. And it's Derek King giving it to Kerr off his stick. Then he couldn't get to it. McGillney trying to center, and Nyland takes over, just clearing it out into center ice. 13 minutes remaining in the opening period. LaFontaine can't get around the check at center ice. Ruchu sends McGillney over the line with 5 by 6.
They can handle the puck. McGillney has shown us that already. Vibe we know about. That's his 18th goal of the season. McGillney picks up the puck. Vibe coming into your screen in the lower left-hand corner. And the pass from McGillney on target. And Rick Vibe opens the scoring of the hockey game with a quick one-timer into the open side of the net. McGillney to Vibe, and it's 1-0. Fine passing by the Buffalo Sabres.
Islander bench reacted as if the play may have been offside.
Almost an international line, if you will. Rutu, Vibe, and McGillney.
But it comes at the 7:06 mark, and the Sabres take the lead. And they'll get a chance here as Arneal picked up a loose puck and shot it wide at Fitzpatrick. Plays around the boards. Randy Wood can't control it. Long shot from the point. Here to side as Nogarud let one go. 10 shots on goal now for the Sabres. And we have played only 7.5 minutes of the opening period. Randy Wood moves in. Tied up by Kennedy. Nogarud dumps it off the board. Battling for it here is Brent Sutter. Tied up along with Scott Arneal. Now they Gronstrand in, poking at the puck as well. Magoo can see it. All the players on this side can see it. And finally, it spins like a top. Went to Dean Kennedy. Now to Hogue. Plays it in off the glass. It'll be picked up by Jeff Norton. Norton around to Lauer. Arneal right on him. Puck ends up deeper in the Islander zone, and Norton plays it around to the other side. There's Housley. Goes rink wide. It comes off the board. Brought to center ice by Lauer. Out it wide to Darren Pupa. The Islanders in the middle of a player change, and Phil Housley brings the Sabres to center ice. Giving it to Zuckerud, who dumps it in. Patrick leaves the puck for Doug Crossman. Crossman goes to Volek. Plays it out through center ice. Turgeon broke up the play. Here Turgeon dumps it over the line. That's Baumgartner chasing it. Lino takes him into the boards. Baumgartner protecting the puck. LaFontaine got to it. Then it's checked by Turgeon. Lino jabs at it. Flatley in a struggle for it here on the right wing, and it's Andrechuk playing it in deeper. Now Patrick Flatley loses it. Rogers sets up. Shoots one that's wide of the net. Puck comes bouncing back to Housley on the right wing board. Steps around Volek. Housley cutting right in on goal. A backhander is blocked by Fitzpatrick. Baumgartner takes it from the corner and clears the zone.
It's amazing when you miss a check what can happen. That time Volek misses a check. Polino with a good scoring chance.
Now Mike Polino handling the puck again. Sent Housley over the Islander line. Housley looked for Turgeon and ran into the check of Crossman. Flatley back to pick up the puck. Turned it over. Rogers' shot is steered aside by Baumgartner, and that will get out of play.
Sometimes it's as good as a timeout. The goaltender in this case, Fitzpatrick, has a equipment problem. He decided to fix it, which he's allowed to do. Kind of slow things down. The Buffalo Sabres are crawling all over the Islanders. Rutu with McGillney and Vive, line that has the only goal of the game so far.
Now as play gets underway, McGillney takes it out of the corner, got tripped up, no penalty. Lakota thought he was going. He looked up at the ceiling, and no signal from referee Mike Magoo. The Islanders move it into the Buffalo zone. Maloney chased it around the boards, comes right back to him thanks to Diddick. Don Maloney backhands it in toward the corner. That's McDonough chasing it. Ramsey there for Buffalo. Got it to the stick of McGillney. Long cross-ice pass. And there's five with a booming shot. Stick save by the goalkeeper, Mark Fitzpatrick. Maloney bumping with McGillney, but Don Maloney comes away with the puck. Marks back to the net. Ruchu waits out in front, watching Maloney. Now Vi forces Maloney to move it. He dumps it out towards center ice. Troop is back on the play. Shot went in around the boards. It goes to Gerald Diddick. Buffalo in the middle of the player change now as Diddick and Maloney at center. He flips it into the Sabre zone, and the Islanders will make their player change. Lakota with a little extra work on Dean Kennedy, but the Sabres move it to Snuggerud. As Ledyard with him on the right, Arneal on the left. Snuggerud shoots. Stick save by Fitzpatrick. Running from back of the goal is Norton. Lakota, he gets bumped off the puck. It's picked up by Arneal. Snuggerud open in front. They couldn't get it to him. Out comes LaFontaine. And back to the play. A penalty as Lakota took Snuggerud in hard. And Buffalo will get the first power play of the night.
Nick Vakota gives a little extra into the check on Snuggerud. Gets a penalty for roughing. The Buffalo Sabres have the 10th best power play in the league. They've scored 35 power play goals on 166 opportunities. Leading 1-0. 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the first period.
To kill it off for the Islanders, Brett Sutter and Brad Lauer, Crossman and Nyland. Buffalo power play is made up of Turgeon, Edrichuk, and Five as the forward. Bodger and Housley on the point. Housley has given it to Doug Bodger. Now to Housley. Minorama moves to get away from Lauer. Housley beats Turgeon. One in. Patrick shovels it to Nyland. Knocks it off the boards and down the ice.
With Buffalo being this tough a team in their own building, particularly, the Islanders can't allow them to get too much of a lead. 2 goals isn't too bad, but if you keep it to 1, it's a whole lot better.
Historically, the Islanders have played them pretty tough here, but always been a goal or so short in regular season play. The record in this building is 10 wins, 18 losses, and 4 ties. Patrick making the save. The puck seemed to get away from him, then ended up under his right pad. The last 20 visits to Buffalo, as a matter of fact, the Islanders are 6-11-3. 6 wins, 11 losses, 3 ties for Islander teams coming here in their last 20 trips.
And in most cases, the games are close. That's Five as he moves it across. The one-timing shot by Housley deflected. It deflected off Nyland and went to the goaltender. You can see Fitzpatrick still hasn't got a grip on it as it slides along the edge of his pad. Housley is such a good player. He's such a good skater. You saw the scoring opportunity that he created for himself with speed alone as he went outside the Islander defense behind the net for a wraparound.
On this face-off, Rutu gets the puck back to Bodger. Housley. That's one fly. 6 save by Fitzpatrick. 2 shots on goal now with the man advantage for Buffalo. 58 seconds left in Dakota's roughing penalty. Sabres lead on Rick Five's 18th goal of the season. On pass to McGillney coming up the middle. He dumps one in. Chasing it as Norton. Knocks it off the boards. It goes off Housley. Roger gets to it and almost gave it away to McDonough. Giving McDonough forcing the Sabres to regroup on the power play. This is Housley. Giving it to McGillney on the top wing. Now to Luchu. Luchu waited. Gave it to McGillney. McDonough knocked him off balance. The pass goes right to Ledyard, however. That Ledyard beats Mike Ramsey. Long shot. Blocked by Flatley, and it bounces back into the Buffalo zone.
That's a good spot to do it in, and Flatley realizes that if he goes down there and blocks the shot, it's not so bad, because a lot of the time it bounces out over the blue line. It's when the defenseman doesn't shoot it and he walks around you, then everything starts to break down. Someone's got to cover up for you, and then everybody's out of position.
Only 2 seconds left in Dakota's roughing penalty. So while the Sabres get 2 shots on goal, the Islanders come up 3-on-1. Flatley to Woods. Can't get in around Ramsey. Got tripped up in the play. Here's Flatley. Patrick flatly pulled up on Foligno. Comes in off the left wing board. Shoots one. Pupa makes the save, and there's no further play. Getting set for a face-off in the circle to the right of that man, Darren Pupa.
Yes.
Kirkland, Lake Ontario, and RPI Engineers.
Yes, he's tall. He's 6'3", 24 years old. Buffalo picked him in 1983, their fourth round. He was the reason that they were able to trade Tom Barrasso.
On the draw here, LaFontaine banks it off the left wing boards. LaFontaine with Kerr and King. Norton on one side of the defense, Yari Gronstrand on the other. Derek King fires one deep into the Buffalo zone. Ramsey back for it, moves it out towards center ice. Gronstrand cut it off there, then King lost it, and McGuire gets into the Islander zone. McGuire lined up for a hit, thrown by Norton. Bird plays it back behind the net to King. Norton open on the far side. LaFontaine tips it outside the blue line. And Group shoots it right back in again. This is the 9th time that the Islanders have played back-to-back games this season. You saw the opportunity there. Man, what an opportunity developed for Kevin McGuire.
Yes, Gary Gronstrand, his first shift of the hockey game, lost the puck.
Now Norton brings the Islanders over the line, feeding LaFontaine for a drive. He scores! At LaFontaine ties it up. Jeff Norton gives him the perfect pass, and we're even 1-1.
His 31st goal of the season. He scored 2 last night. He continues to go here. Norton steals the puck in the center ice area, quickly gets it to LaFontaine, and he lets it go from the offside into the short side, beating the catching mitt of Darren Pupa. There's LaFontaine, a quick release. A 1-1 tie here in the first period as Pat LaFontaine fires it in behind Darren Pupa, and the Islanders tie up the game.
You look at the Islander bench, and the man is back. Mark Aldrich, Islander trainer, who has been on the injury list himself recently following some surgery, is back working the bench. Joe Patton, one of the New York Jets trainers, has been filling in, working with Mark. Joe still on the trip with the team. This is really a weird and sort of strange road trip for the Islanders. They make a trip to Quebec City to come to Buffalo without Thomas Patrick Barnwell, self-appointed assistant to everyone. Just really strange, isn't it?
Yes. Miss him. I guess that's why we're talking about it.
Is that it? Do we really miss him?
Well, of course, Tom's the guy. He's the other bomber on this team now since they traded for Ken Baumgartner.
Only one bomber, and he wears number 24 now. Zuckerud, center ice for the Sabres. There's one in front, cleared by Crossman. Housley dumps it right to Fitzpatrick. Arneal was standing there, but Mark Fitzpatrick covered it and held on. And a little extra shoving. Dakota puts grips on Benoit Hogue. He's been pawing away at Baumgartner and not retaliating. 5 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this first period.
Here's the last opportunity. The Islanders seem to be in good control here as Crossman moves the puck over to the wing. You can see Dakota heading for it, but keeping the puck in and a shot on goal. There's Arneal standing there and did not attempt to poke away at it as Crossman gets to him. Some of the little things that the Islanders were doing so well, they're not doing so far in this first period. They're giving up the puck. You saw how they started. We were talking about the fact that in less than 1 minute of the start of the game, they had 2 icings, an offside, and a puck deflected up into the seats. They haven't really gotten into a flow yet or into a tempo. I don't think either team has.
No, not yet. Ledyard shot from the point. Bounces off Lauer. Fitzpatrick lost it, and it comes loose in front. Five was right there. You talk about opportunities. You get only so many in a game, and the Sabres have had 15, make it 16 shots on goal, and several good scoring chances that they missed the net on. Gilney sets up Rutu. Drop pass, went through Sutter, and up towards center ice. This is Ledyard. Didn't wait long enough. Dumped it in, but the Sabres do get back on side. And Gary Nyland feeds one up the boards. Went behind Lauer, came out to center ice, and Ledyard chops it right back into the Islanders' zone. 1-1 is the score. 5 for the Sabres, LaFontaine for the Islanders. Sabres trying to move it out of the zone. Mike Ramsey shot one at a teammate. And Now, over on the far side, Gene Kennedy's effort to clear it out hits the linesman.
You could hear Ray Scampanello yell all the way up here with headsets on, and he could see it coming. He was yelling before the puck hit him in the middle of the back.
Now Turgeon handles it for Buffalo, gives it to Ramsey. Okay, well, does that thing hurt? Yeah, I guess it does. You're talking frozen, vulcanized rubber, and you're also talking an offside situation here at the Buffalo line.
Take a look at the opportunity. The Islanders mishandled the puck, and there's the pass out in front. Rick Vibe. Wow. The puck was bouncing and rolling, did not get much of it. And the pass from Rutu to Vibe turned out to be nothing more than a big scare.
Buffalo out shooting the Islanders 16-4 as Coop moves in, and Gronstrand knocked it off his stick. 16-4. First period shots on goal. That's the most that any team has had against the Islanders this season, or at least ties the most. The Devils, the Rangers, and the Caps all had 16 first-period shots against the Islanders.
There's an area that a lot of people would like to see hockey change things. Pat LaFontaine was standing, straddling the line as Jeff Norton carried the puck through the center ice area. As Norton approached the blue line, Mike Foligno shoved LaFontaine into the offensive zone, and that creates an offside. Not a penalty. It's, in a sense, if you're a purist, it's an interference penalty. Creates the offside that the Islanders were trying to prevent, and LaFontaine did not get in there by himself.
Now McDonough comes out on this forward line with Maloney and Vakota. Nick Vakota trying to get it to the point. Ronstrand is pinched in, so McDonough goes back. Vakota really an excited guy today. Hal Tony Horachuk had a hat trick last night. The Philadelphia Flyers beat the Los Angeles Kings in L.A. Norton just turned the puck over to McGuire, centered one off the arm of Steve Ludwig, and was cleared out into center ice. Brute forces the Islanders to chase. 3 minutes remaining in the opening period at Buffalo on New Year's Eve. Out comes McDonough. He's over the blue line. The puck knocked off his stick, picked up by Crossman. Now to the Bomber. And Baumgartner has given it to Doug Crossman. Center ice, the pass to Derek King, and he gave it away to Turgeon. There, Turgeon trying to feed McGuire at center, but Crossman was there. Worked it off the boards. LaFontaine puts a stick on it, and that's a two-line or offside pass.
Not a memorable period here for the Islanders. They have not been able to do what they'd like to do, some of it because of what Buffalo is initiating, but a lot of it is just the little things again. The Islanders are not controlling the puck in their own end as well as they have in the past. Buffalo making another change here.
Where the Sabres have run into problems recently, in a tie and a loss at home has been third period problems, late in the third period especially.
Rick Dudley seemed to think that it wasn't as serious as what some of the writers and media people seemed to think it was. He said if it was a game that made a big difference, then of course I'd be more concerned about it. They lost, tied to Montreal, lost to the Boston Bruins. Dudley, the coach said if this was a couple of weeks ago and we were tied with them, it might be a different story.
He pointed to the fact that when they lost their first home game, and that was against Boston, they went right back into Boston and beat the Bruins rather handily. And earlier on, they had a situation with Montreal where they, after losing in Montreal, came home and beat Montreal soundly. He looks at that. They're able to come back the next game, the next chance you get, and make up for whatever mistakes and errors, and, of course, get the 2 points.
That's an indication of a team that has some character, that isn't satisfied with saying just it's a loss and let it go. If it's a loss to a certain team, you may think less about it than a team in your own division. And, of course, they're battling to stay ahead of Montreal and the Boston Bruins, which they are handily ahead at this point. They're 3 points ahead of Edmonton when you're looking at the overall standings. They're top of the division, or top of the NHL by 3 points.
Another offside, this one against Buffalo, and again a two-line pass. You look at the captain of the Buffalo Sabres, Mike Foligno. This Buffalo team, we've talked about their excellent home record. They're also reaching the midway point of the season tonight, and they're going to come up just a little shy of their best start ever.
They'll only be 2 points behind it. They've had some good starts before, but they're only 2 points behind. They will be only 2 points if they get a couple here. And if they don't, they'll just be tied with some other good seasons that the Buffalo Sabres have had, particularly in the mid-'70s.
2 minutes remaining in the opening period as Polino tries to get in around Nyland, and the play broken up. Fontaine dumps it to center. LaFontaine is centering for Flatley and Bollock. Diddick battling Polino for it. Gave it to LaFontaine. Now to Bollock, who's over the line. The pass to LaFontaine. Shoots stick saved by Pupa. Fifth shot on goal in the period for the Islanders. Their low in the opening period was 3 against Calgary. Turgeon has given it to Andrew Chuck. He's having an excellent season into the Islanders zone and then got checked by Gary Nyland. Turgeon and Polino arrive on the scene, and Nyland again is able to knock the puck loose. This is Patrick Flatley over the Buffalo line. His teammates going for a change, so Flatley is chased by 3 Sabres. They still have to struggle to get control of the puck. Finally, Andrew Chuck comes to center ice. Now the Sabres make their change. Fitzpatrick moving it to Gronstrand. Johnny Gronstrand dumps one off the boards down into the Buffalo zone. Backboard is Troop. Lauer chases him behind the net. Troop works it to right wing for Rick Vise. Tries to play it around the boards. Rutu and Wood have been tangled up. Back to Ramsey and play called. There's going to be a holding penalty. Mike Magoo making the call with 43 seconds left in this opening period, and Christian Rutu is the man getting the gate.
In the offensive zone, Rutu grabbed a hold. I believe it was Randy Wood. The Islanders try to clear. He still doesn't believe it. He's looking at the referee in wonderment, saying, he must have gotten me mixed up with somebody else. I wasn't holding anybody. Kind of a weak penalty in the minds of Christian Rutu. Watch down in the bottom of your screen. The puck goes around behind there. Randy Wood. Who's holding whom as they waltz around? Do-si-do. Rutu gets the gate. I don't like to see penalties called like that at either end of the ice or against either team. That sets kind of the wrong tone.
Now, in the final minute of the period as well, Lakota had the only penalty prior to this. Roughing call at around the midway point of the period. 5 and LaFontaine with the goals. It's 1-1. Boston brings the puck into the Buffalo zone, but couldn't get it onto a teammate's stick. Dean Kennedy lost it. Thornton sets up King for a shot that went wide of the net. And the Islanders will not have time for another rush.
That's an area where the Jeff Norton, the defenseman, hasn't been able to get going on yet. And if he'd have dropped his shoulder and headed for the net, he had all the room he wanted to go all the way to the net and either take a shot or make the pass then to Pat LaFontaine. The Islanders were outshot 16-5 in the first period. They did not get off to a good start from the drop of the puck. Things struggled along.
It has to do with the fact that Mario Lemieux is not the only toast of the town in Pittsburgh tonight. Steelers place kicker Gary Anderson booted a 51-yard field goal. Oh, the Steelers beat the Houston Oilers. They'll face Denver. 51-yard field goal in overtime yet. And the Steelers knock off Warren Moon. Jerry Glanville's Oilers are history. Think of that Steeler team and all the points they gave up in the first 2 games. Regular season in the NFL. 92, I think it was. 2 games. Scored only 10. And now they win the first wild card game, beating Houston in OT. 51-yard boost. How about that? There's still 45 seconds remaining in an Islander power play as we begin the second period. The score tied 1-1. I'm Chicks McDonald with Ed Westfall on New Year's Eve. We'll get Ed's observations, and over and above that is resolutions for 90, maybe even the decade. LaFontaine dumps one in off the glass. You look at me like I've been... Yes. Maybe I have. Across the Bolton at the point.
Like it was after midnight.
Misled. Lauer forced to clear the puck down into his own zone, and dropping back for it is Jeff Thornton. Now to Derek King. It went to Kerr instead. Left it for King. Comes over center, on into the Buffalo zone with a drive that's wide. Boston holds it on the boards and gave it to Kerr. Lucher's penalty is over. Crossman shot off Hoopa. Ends up on the far wing, and there's Arneal just getting it outside the line. Now Turgeon steps over the Islander blue line. Here Turgeon centers, and it's cut wide. Comes right out in front again and ends up underneath Mark Fitzpatrick. He was down, basically out, but got a break.
What a break the Islanders got, along with Mark Fitzpatrick, as the Buffalo Sabres, on top of everything, coming out of the penalty box. They start things up quickly. Take a look as the pass comes across. trying to convert it just wide. Mark Fitzpatrick may have gotten just a smidge of it and deflected it wide of the goalpost. That deflection off the stick of Christian Rutu. And then Arneal, as the puck came off the backboard, it bounced to the front of the net, and Arneal was standing there, but the puck was underneath the goaltender of the New York Islanders.
Sabres get the draw here in the Islanders' own. Bodger's shot is a stick saved by Fitzpatrick. Five handling the rebound. Played it in behind the net. McGillney trying to get to it, but McDonough was there. And he fed Maloney on the left side. Flatley is on right wing at the moment. The Islanders dropping back. Nyland with it behind the net. Five scored, and then LaFontaine, and we're tied 1-1. Maloney dumps the puck in. That's going to be called back and an offside. Flatley ahead of the play over on right wing.
Did you agree with Stan in his 5 picks?
No.
Gretzky, Potvin, Bossy, Messier, and Lemieux?
No.
I just, it's hard to argue with the picks that he's got, but there are, for some reason, now I think Mario Lemieux, there's no question about his talent, but he's played 6 of 10 years.
Yeah.
That's one of the little arguments I have. Yzerman has played 7 of the last 10. He is not mentioned. How about Stastny? How about Savard, Goulet, Curry, Gartner, Bork, Howard Chuck, Lanny McDonald? There's a lot of players that you can argue for. While you can't really argue against any of the 5 picks, you can put up a very strong argument for some of the others.
Well, I think 1 through 4 he's fine, but number 5 would have been Savard. I think Goulet, over 400 goals in the past 10 years, 6 times an All-Star. Come on, he's got to be one of the top 5 of the decade. Savard, you're right.
And then you have to apply things as we apply them to teams.
Sure.
It's just, where did you go? How did you get to the Cup Finals? How did you accomplish all this? And you can't say that a guy like Yzerman, if you want to consider his 7 of 10 years, wasn't on great teams all the time. Goulet, obviously not.
Yep.
And so there's all kinds of little things you can apply to each one of the selections, or why you don't think somebody else. If we got too many men on the ice with Ray Campanella, his arm in the air looking directly.
Got half the Buffalo team on the ice. Wow. You're not going to believe this one, folks. Wow. Islanders, too many men on the ice.
There were so many people coming over the boards from the bench of the Buffalo Sabres, I had to assume. Of course, I can't see the Islanders bench of our monitors sitting in front of me, but I saw at least 9 guys on the ice in white jerseys. Maybe the Islanders had 10, so that's... Anyway, it's a bench penalty. Too many men on the ice to the Islanders. So Buffalo gets its second power play.
1-1 is the score as the Sabres dump it into the Islanders' zone. Polino let it go back to the net to Andrechuk. Good in center. Good play by Crossman to knock it away. Now Turgeon sets up. Gives it to Andrechuk. Back to the blue line to Grant Ledyard to Dave Andrechuk. Trying to center one of them off Crossman. Here to side by Fitzpatrick. Here's Polino with it. Polino drags it around to the far corner. Andrechuk is back to the goal line, as is Turgeon, and the shot was redirected by Lauer. Turgeon to Andrechuk. Blue line to Housley. Here's a guy that you could consider. Housley has been an excellent player over the decade. Oh, well. Andrechuk gave it to Housley. A shot just wide. Here's Turgeon from back of the net. Andrechuk will try to set things up again. Let one go that hit Nyland. Comes loose in front. Cleared by Brent Sutter. Picked up by Andrechuk. Turns on Sutter. Starts in with it. Dave Andrechuk shoots. Hits the post. Right back to Ledyard. He is checked by Sutter, but Polino is there. He's given it to Andrechuk. To Polino. Crossman broke it up. Now Polino is checked by Lauer as he went to shoot it. 42 seconds remaining in this Buffalo power play. Gary Nyland handles it.
Oh, I love that move by Nyland. He's such a good skater, and he's gaining so much confidence in handling and carrying the puck. That's a good play. Kills a lot of time for the Islanders' penalty-killing crew.
You really had him wide-eyed in the dressing room earlier tonight talking about the days of Bobby Orr.
Yes, it's fun to have players ask you about players that you may have played with or against. Chance to have a conversation in an era that I'm familiar with.
Here's McDonough bringing it across the line. And McGillney drops back behind the Buffalo goal. Checks his options and feeds a long pass to 5. He stayed on side, got around Norton, only to have Fitzpatrick make the save. Here's Maloney. The Islanders come to center, 2-on-1, now 3-on-1. Don Maloney coming in with a backhander off Pupa's right pad. Islanders kill off the penalty and get a scoring chance, but that comes through too. He's given it to Vines. Shoots. That was wide as Bollock checked him from behind. And right in front, Maloney picked up a loose puck. Don Maloney went to the right side with a pass to McDonough. 14 and a half minutes to go in the second period as Bollock got pumped on the board. Dean Kennedy there for the Sabres. Plays it up right wing to Hogue, and he is offside. So the Islanders weathered the Buffalo power play.
Here's Don Maloney. Maloney actually didn't get much on the backhand. Look where Bollock is looking for a pass. Maloney went too far with the puck. Then he was committed. He couldn't make a play across the ice, a pass play. He had to shoot it at the net.
Now Crossman brings the puck deeper into the Buffalo zone, put it in front of backhander, and Pupa makes the save off Alan Kerr.
Alan Kerr using his strength against a pretty strong hockey player in his own right, in Mike Ramsey. Kerr gets a blackhand shot away. That's the play to the front of the net. Off Krupp, number 4, and there fighting off the check of Ramsey is Kerr with a backhand shot that Pupa was able to stop and hang on. Alan Kerr, his contribution the last 2 weeks. A surprise, not really a surprise because it's always been in there. He's just been toiling very diligently trying to bring it out.
And right there, Pat LaFontaine caps off a pretty pass from back of the net. Just to amplify what you were saying, Kerr and King setting up LaFontaine, and it's 2-1.
From the face-off, the Islanders take control of the puck. Derek King on Krupp fires it to the front of the net. Nobody is within 10 feet of Pat LaFontaine, and his second goal of the hockey game, his 32nd of the season, to the lower left-hand corner to the right of Darren Pupa, and the Islanders have the lead now. It's 2-1. Derek King will get one of the assists. I'm sure that LaFontaine from the face-off, maybe it'll just be the only assist.
Now Snuggerud brings Buffalo deep into the Islanders zone, put it in front and right between the skates of Scott Arneal. Who has to turn and chase it into his own zone. He's fed it to Hogue. Hogue gets checked by Kerr. King holds the puck. Now lets one go. Pupa the save. LaFontaine with the rebound. Hits the outside of the net. And it's covered long enough by Pupa. Fans started to react as if it had gone in. Pupa seemed to have it all figured out, though.
Islanders with some good pressure here just after the penalty. Too many men on the ice. They killed it off. Gave up only 2 shots. And here, Derek King. He, as Alan Kerr, playing so much better. Backhand shot by Pat LaFontaine being checked, but he got the shot away. It was outside the goal post. Darren Pupa from Kirkland Lake. He was the first goaltender in ECAC history to win 30 games, topping Ken Dryden for Turnell.
Ken Dryden has a new television series that will debut in Canada in February. Has an excellent book out on the market again. Home game. Ronstrand backboard. You know, that was the highlight of Christmas. We haven't really talked about the gifts that we got, but I got 4 books. 4 hockey books this Christmas, none of which were written by Stan Fischler. Here's a chance for Foligno, and he couldn't handle the puck. We're all over Stan's case tonight, and our colleagues loved it. We'll hear about it Tuesday when the Islanders are at home against the Los Angeles Kings. Randy Wood trying to get the puck away from Andrechuk. It ends up on Foligno's stick. Out of Cruz. Up at the center ice, and Lauer stepped in front of Turgeon. Turgeon checks him from behind, then can't get it over the line. This is Ronstrand. Brent Sutter, he and Wood across the blue line. Sutter holds it, shoots through a screen. Pupa the save. The rebound for Grunstrand. He scores! Yari Grunstrand has made it 3-1.
The Islanders continue to keep the pressure on. The fans are reacting now against their hockey team here at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium. And Yari Grunstrand, who gets very little ice time, never mind into that many games, makes it work. Here he's drifting in. There's the shot by Sutter. The rebound. He was partially checked, but he turns around and bats the puck. Turgeon was trying to check him. He's very big. Yari Grunstrand, using his strength and size, picks off a rebound, fights off a check by Turgeon, and then hammers it underneath the left arm of Darren Pupa. And the Islanders have opened up a 3-1 lead.
Maloney trying to move the puck out of the Islanders' zone. Is brought in deeper by Housley. Bill Housley, rink-wide pass, picked on. Nick Sakota with it at center ice. Wide of Darren Pupa. Housley back for it. Roger moves it up the left side, and the Sabres come over center ice. McGuire, a high shot. Blocked by Fitzpatrick. Turned it right back to Housley. He couldn't get it to Ludzig. Don Maloney for the Islanders. Dumps it into center. Vakota tips it to the Buffalo line, but Roger brings it right back into the Islanders' zone. Had very few penalties. 3, as a matter of fact. Buffalo with 2 power plays. The Islanders with 1, and now the Islanders are going to be called for having iced it as Baumgartner jumped at the length of the ice. Talk about Housley. Of course, he's been here since 82-83. At 19 goals his first year, then 31, 16, 15, 21, 29, 26, 157. That's a defenseman.
Well, part of the 4 years. Yeah, part of the 4 years he was a forward. 26 goals he scored last year, and 26 is about where Alan Kerr would like to be by the time this season. Actually, he'd like to be a little ahead of that, but realistically, he has, the way he's going now, if he can maintain the level, he could get that. But Housley, yes, he's had a tremendous career so far, and he's still only 29.
You know, I guess you think of the Mario Lemieux situation. Justifiably, to a degree, he has to be in the top 5 of the decade, but having not played the entire decade. He's in one of those situations, if he gets 15 years in, he hasn't had coming in sort of in the middle of it. How good is he going to be the last 5 years, say, of his career? Well, a lot of players fall into that, I suppose. Maybe we could have just done it as the best of the 1989. Huh?
Yeah, well, how about Steve Yzerman? I mean, heaven's sake, going back, and he has, he has played very well in 7 of the 10 years of the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are several, I'm sure, that we probably not even mentioned. Jeff Norton giving the puck to LaFontaine, didn't turn up. Silver's shot hit the right pad of Mark Fitzpatrick. LaFontaine gets it outside the line. There's Alan Kerr. Couldn't go any further, and the Sabres tip it into the Islanders' zone, and Norton dropped back to play it away from Hogue. Here's Troop. The Hogue steps over the line with Arneal. Hogue takes the pass, or Troop, he dumps it into the corner. There's King. Pass to LaFontaine. LaFontaine battling Snuggerud. Snuggerud has brought something to this Buffalo team. That's a constant battle for loose pucks. King comes over the line with Kerr. King shot, 6 saves. Blocking glove save at least by Pupa. Eric King drags it away from Krupa's centering attempt picked off by Hogue. Gives to Snuggerud. Snuggerud. Long shot to the blue line. Fitzpatrick, no problem with the bad save, and he plays it up the right wing. Eric King. Now to Brad Lauer. Lauer goes in deep. Backhanded one from a sharp angle. Puts it in front again. That's broken up by Turgeon. Lauer with it. Can't get it to his teammate. They know it's been knocked down by Nyland, but across the line with it is Turgeon. He shoots one high and wide. 9.5 minutes to go in the second period, The Islanders up 3-1 as Nyland turns back, reorganizes the play. Pass off the boards. It's behind Lauer. The Sabres get over the line. Foligno gives it to Turgeon. Turgeon plays it around Nyland, and Fitzpatrick's about to move the puck. Brent Sutter recovers at center ice. Wood coming up with him, takes the pass from Sutter. Wood on the backhand, shoots Pupa the save, and the rebound is blocked by Pupa.
Hey, there you are, Kevin. It's Air Meininger. He's got more air in his head than he has in his shoes. One of those sneakers they have now with air in them. He's really bouncing around, isn't he? Well, the Islanders, what are they doing different in the second period? What's different about them is that they're skating. They're covering a lot of ice, creating scoring opportunities, and in doing so, they've got the Buffalo Sabres running around.
Brink Live has given the puck to Christian Rutu. Went Brink wide. Grant Ledger couldn't handle it. Here's Crossman. Lead pass to LaFontaine. He shoots, broke his stick on the drive. Comes to the near wing. Baumgartner went in deep for it. Sabres able to get it to Rutu. Now to McGildy. And opening down the right side. McGildy holds it and then stands on the shot. Crossman clears the zone. Baumgartner leveled McGildy with some check. The fans reacting to that. The puck in the meantime at center ice. McGillney unable to hold it. Back into his own zone with it is Dean Kennedy. He's given it to Alexander McGillney. Pollock chased him toward the corner. The puck in a broken stick. Kennedy dishes it right back to McGillney. McGillney, bad pass, picked off by Vakota. Centered one, that hit a broken stick again. The same one. McDonough puts it in the slot. And here's Maloney with a shot. Blocked, and blocked the second time. Then it comes loose, but the whistle is sounded. And the boys begin to push and shove, a fist in the face.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. The referee now had to see Pupa pop Nick Vakota right between the eyes with his catching mitt. He'll either give nothing or a whole lot here as the Islanders get a scoring opportunity again. Maloney with a couple of shots. Vakota looking for the rebound. Ends up getting popped between the eyes. Hubie McDonough with a backhand. There's the rebound. Grabbed and shot by Maloney. The rebound again. Maloney shoots it. And as Vakota, in comes Vakota. And back at the other end, prior to that, McGillney stand on a shot and then bang. What a hit by Baumgartner. Almost a little too late, I would have to think, but Mr. Magoo, the referee, kind of letting things go.
Now on the draw, Vakota is dragged to the ice. The Islanders maintaining control of the puck as McDonough takes it from Maloney and got checked. And the Sabres break out of the zone. Here's McGuire on the right side. Couldn't send Ludzik over the line cleanly. The Islanders play the right wing boards. Vakota steps over the line, but a two-line pass is called here. Still 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the second period. It's the Islanders 3, the Sabres 1. Islanders leading the Sabres in Buffalo by a score of 3-1. They've outshot Buffalo something like 13-6. Make it 13-8 in the second period, and Norton brings the Islanders into the Buffalo zone. Put it back of the net. And Hogue let it slip off his stick, but he's able to pick it up again. He's given it to Snuggerud. Back to Mike Ramsey. Steps over the Islander line. Dumps it into the corner. Norton hit hard, but he was able to move the puck to McDonough. Goes cross-ice. Dakota picks it off the boards and right into Krupp. Dakota gets to it again. Puts it behind the goal. Krupp tries the right side. It bounced off the glass and is brought to center by Snuggerud. The pass went behind Arneal. Sabres just not getting anything going for the most part through the center ice zone. Derek King plays it up along the boards. Been called back here on an offside, and we have 6 minutes and 48 seconds left in the second period.
Update of Sports Channel out-of-town scoreboard. The New Jersey Devils playing at Detroit. They're leading 3-1. Patrick Sundstrom has a goal. Broughton has 2. And for Detroit, Sean Burr has the only goal for the Detroit Red Wings.
All right, Sean. Narnia, Ontario native. Played his junior hockey at Kitchener. They're going to have a reunion of the Kitchener Rangers. Everybody who's ever played for the Kitchener Rangers invited back next summer. That may even be a bigger blowout than their Oktoberfest is.
That's hard to match an Oktoberfest in Kitchener.
Yeah, that's true. Ever have that Oktoberfest sausage that they have there?
Yes.
Should mention J.M. Snyder and see if we can get a case of it. Over the line with it is Kerr. Got checked. Andrewchuk. Spotted Foligno, who had been knocked to the deck, and a pretty heavy hit from Gary Nyland. Now the puck goes out of play. Knocked over the glass with a high stick. These two teams meet again in Buffalo. It'll be Sunday, February 4th, when they complete this season's 3 games between the Islanders and the Sabres. 1989 coming to a close tonight. Let's take a look at this hit on Foligno.
It's a beauty. Foligno is a strong skater, strong player, and Nyland just wept him. Hit him a beautiful shoulder hit, open ice hit, and Foligno goes down heavily. Got up quickly. Mike Foligno. You know that his wife Janice is a niece of Eddie Jockerman?
Yeah. Yeah, and her dad's name is Jake. Jake Jocham. Not the only other one was
Maggie's husband.
the chimp bartender.
Oh.
By the Oh, we do ramble on. Polino trying to get around Baumgartner. And Sutter gives the puck to Crossman. Good thing our floor director doesn't have a whistle, isn't it? We'll be in trouble here.
I'll tell you, she's all over the refereeing.
Well, it is New Year's Eve, wherever you are, and the Buffalo Sabres are offside, and Mike Magoo is yelling at the Buffalo bench.
Yes, he's had enough. He's been getting an earful a lot from the bench, and he's giving Polino, I believe, the penalty. Mike Polino giving it a little too much. I suppose he's still feeling the effects of the hit from Gary Nyland. I don't know why he'd want to bring any more attention to it. Hockey players do not like to get hit. Rick Dudley did not like to get hit as a hockey player. He liked to hit, though.
He's one guy who went to the World Hockey Association and then came back to the NHL.
Yes, he did. You're right. Coached the Carolina Thunderbirds in the Atlantic Coast Hockey League. 4 years and 3 years he was a team were the champions. He had the Flint Spirits of the International Hockey League for 2 years. 2 years he lost in the finals.
I like some of the things he said about coaching at almost every level in hockey, that it wasn't a struggle to get to the NHL. It was enjoyable. He learned something, got involved in the community and the family life and that type of thing wherever he was. Most recently, of course, in New Haven.
I think it says a lot for, coaching is a career that is no different than playing the game. It takes a long time to become a good coach. It's not instant. And more and more, I think that's true. Years ago, players could come off the bench and take a job as a coach and somewhat succeed. But anymore, it's not that way.
Well, there are career coaches, and then there are real career coaches, like Nhl Rs. Folks who have come out of junior hockey, out of college hockey, but the flies are played all over now in the center ice area. A hit thrown on Coop, knocked him down, and there's going to be a penalty. David Pollock says, "Who, me?" Now, wait. David is going off. Referee Mike Magoo. Penalty on Pollock.
Trying to get away with something. More and more of the players using pick plays away from the puck, thinking that they may get away. Knocking a player like Crook down would open up a big hole for the Islanders to sprint through, but that nullifies the power play as Pollock takes the tripping penalty while his team is on the power play.
Promised we'd get 18 resolutions in. Do we have time with 5 minutes remaining in the second period?
Yes, you would have. If you had 5 seconds, I don't have one.
Really?
I don't know. My resolution has always been not to make any because I wouldn't keep them anyway. I like my lifestyle.
Mine are usually broken by noon on New Year's Day, but
are you really? Are you going to set some standards here that we can note and keep track of?
I wouldn't say standards.
Well, I mean resolutions. Then I mean you're going to.
You play a part
never,
in them.
Never say never.
Teams at 5 aside here. This was an area of the game that cost the Islanders at Quebec last night. And Nordique scored twice. 5 aside hockey with 4. Don't count the goalkeepers. That was the turning point. The Islanders couldn't recover. Lost 6-3. McGillney with a pass to Turgeon. Turgeon holding it. Backhand pass. McGillney one-timed it. Is high, off the glass, and out of play.
Providing a souvenir for the fans over on that side of the rink. McGillney just one-timing it hard. There's the youthful face. 20 years old. 5'11", 186 pounds. He was actually a draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres. Here he just lets it fly, and a lot of times it's hard to control that kind of a shot. Unless, it's hard to tell. If the goaltender, Fitzpatrick, may have deflected it, but I don't think so because the faceoff is out in the center ice area. Had it touched the goaltender, it would have been inside the Islanders' end of the ice. Buffalo, actually, using a lot of foresight, drafted him 5th back in 1988. And I wonder how he, well, I guess a lot of people may know, and I don't, about how they spirited him out of the Soviet Union. He was on vacation, wasn't he, or something?
He left the team. The team was playing in a tournament, Central Red Army team, and he said goodbye.
He didn't say goodbye. That was the problem. Well, that's why they were mad at him. He didn't say goodbye. He just left.
took a vacation. Now Norton holding the puck in the Buffalo zone. Cooper goes out to play it. Buffalo goes to New Jersey for a game on Tuesday night, and then they come back here to play the Moscow Dynamo team on Wednesday. They have their date with the Soviets coming up next week. And the Islanders are a man short. The penalty to Foligno is over. 26 seconds in a Buffalo power play. The Islanders leading by a score of 3-1 as Vive is taken to the boards by Diddick. Foligno there being pushed back by Trent Sutter. Diddick hand passes it. It's held in by Housley. To Roger. Right back to Housley. One time that hit Diddick. Foligno leads it back in the net. Through two centers. There's Roger with a shot that's high and wide. Yes, Fitzpatrick coming out of the net to cut down the angle and missed everybody. And the Canes are at 6 aside. Sutter picks up an errant pass, comes over the Buffalo line. Brent Sutter shoots Poop for the save, and right there for the rebound is Bollock. He's not able to get it onto the stick of Crossman. Andrechuk towards the Sabres. Went to the left side for Hogue. Back to Andrechuk. Throws it in for a shot. Glove saved by Fitzpatrick, and there's no further play. 2 minutes and 44 seconds remaining.
Here's an opportunity everybody would like to have in a hockey game. Bodger, as he tries to let it fly, the puck rolls a little, and you can see did not get much on it, and the puck sailed high over top of the net. Buffalo Sabres, that was just at the end of a short power play of something like 24 seconds that they were going to enjoy until Bollock got out with a tripping penalty that he was serving. On the face-off to Fitzpatrick's right. See the concentration as he watches the drop of the puck, and LaFontaine got the draw on the Baumgartner stick. The Bomber up the left side to King. On it wide of the net, LaFontaine to Kerr, chopped at it right at the skates of Pupa. King and Hogue battle for it on the boards. It goes to Alan Kerr. Now to King. Centers one. There's LaFontaine tripped up in his pursuit of the puck, and Pupa plays it around to the left side. Ramsey failed to clear it out, and alone in front is LaFontaine. He tipped it just past the reach of Pupa. King pinching on the boards here. Gets help from Kerr as they put it back in the net. LaFontaine steps around Ramsey. Centered, that's broken up in front of the net. Brought up by Hogue. Hogue hits the Islander line. Baumgartner falls as Hogue holds the puck. Gave it to Arneal. He scores! A couple of the Islanders slapped up the ice, and back quickly come the Buffalo Sabres, and Scott Arneal with a quick wrist shot, a beautiful shot. There's Arneal as he takes it, and he snapped it. Went into the top right-hand corner. And Scott Arneal has given some hope back to the Buffalo Sabres. Snuggerud is there. He's close to the net. I don't believe he touched it, but it appeared as a hard shot by Arneal. His 11th of the season has made it 3-2. The Islanders' lead now cut in half.
McDonough moving up into the center ice area was checked, and the Sabres are backing over the line again. And McGuire in front. The puck got to him, but he couldn't do anything with it. Now a long shot to the point, and Fitzpatrick had two Sabres right there in the goal mouth with him. Gronstrand pushing at Ludzik at the moment. McGuire and Ludzik were right there in the goal mouth. And Fitzpatrick able to make the save. We have a minute and 34 seconds remaining in the second period.
It's at this point it's important for the Islanders to get their composure back. Composure that they've had most of the second period. Back come the Buffalo Sabres very quickly. They move the puck to the net. Fitzpatrick makes the save, and that is a couple of the McGuire, one of them, number 19, hammers away, trying to loosen the puck up. Jerry Gronstrand stepped in. Ludzik was there, number 14, also looking for a rebound that did not get away from Fitzpatrick.
Interesting in Quebec yesterday with a chance to talk to Michel Bergeron about Yari Gronstrand, and the interpretation I got, no emotion, not emotional enough. Didn't really fit the mold that he was looking for.
Of course, he's such an emotional person. He probably looks for, if not a little, but a whole lot in his hockey team, or players individually.
Back ending their streak last night was on win streak, ending the Islanders' 5-game win streak. Beck won that 6-3, and tonight the Islanders are up 5 by a score of 3-2 here in Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Wood tipped the pass from Lauer, then tumbled. Wood comes back to lay a good hit on Housley. Less than a minute to go in the second period. Here's Dave Andrechuk at center ice. Bank went in off the glass. Patrick moves it up the left wing into the skates of Turgeon, however. Pierre Turgeon centers. Andrechuk is well covered. Now Fitzpatrick makes a save on that long shot from Bodger. Turgeon back to the net. Right up with Nyland. Fitzpatrick has to handle it. There'll be a penalty. Credit the crowd with calling a penalty on Gary Nyland. Or is it Nyland? No, he has spotted Diddick in front of the net, interfering. Now the crowd reacted as Nyland took his man down behind the net. The referee reacted as well, but to something entirely different.
It was in front of the net. Gary Nyland was behind the net, and you could see Mike Magoo, the referee, pointing towards Gerald Diddick in front, and it's the penalty. Interference. Diddick in front of the net. There he is at the side of the net as he knocks Andrechuk down. Twice now, Islanders have been accused of taking dives, and the referee waved off any penalty that the fans thought there might be coming, and that time Andrechuk, who's tall and strong, went to the ice, hit from the side by Gerald Diddick. So what the Islanders did not need was play in their end of the ice and then to take a penalty, because with the face-off in their end of the ice and an extra man now for Buffalo, they're in a deeper problem.
Islanders leading 3-2, but the Sabres are on their fourth power play of the game. Play by Doug Crossman to move it into the Buffalo zone. Into forecheck is Maloney. Ties up Housley and the puck. Use up some time here. Finally, Housley gets to it. And with 15 seconds left in the period, he sends Turgeon over center ice. Here, Turgeon putting some moves on Nyland. Sent it to Housley. Housley trying to center. Vies at the side of the net. Had a whack at it and missed. And John Maloney takes a look at the clock, dumps it down the ice, and that'll do it for the second period. The Islanders, who had been tied 1-1 at the end of the first, hit themselves a 3-1 lead, only to have Argyle cut back. And they outscored Buffalo and outscored them in the second period. Your score after 40 minutes. You had a look at them through the viewfinder on the camera here.
Oh, camera on camera. I just looked up from my reading and wondered what was going on with our monitor.
Mike Magoo takes a look at the clock. Shows still 1 minute and 27 seconds left in Gerald Diddick's interference penalty. The Islanders get ready to go to work.
I thought of another player for the decade of the 80s that a lot of people might consider, and we should bring his name up, or I will, is Tim Kerr. I mean, heaven's sake.
Yeah.
He's talking about welcoming our Philadelphia fans, Philadelphia area fans. How about Tim Kerr? What he has done in the 1980s and injured a great part of it. He's got a 34-goal record of power play goals.
The Islanders with a 1-goal lead. Sabres with a man advantage, and Housley slaps it in around the boards. Lauer steps in front of 5, couldn't clear the zone with it. This is Turgeon. Centered one that's tipped by Lauer. Housley and after it, Lauer plays it away from him. Got it to the line, and then Crossman takes it away from Bodger, feeds it to Sutter. Bodger gets back. Sutter shoots, and Pupa makes the save. This is Dave Andrechuk bringing the Sabres over center ice. 1 minute remaining in the power play now. Andrechuk pulling to the right, gave it to Turgeon. To Housley. Fitzpatrick the save, and Crossman has the rebound. Fitzpatrick shaken up. He's okay. The Islanders are able to clear the zone.
A couple of pretty good saves, one at either end of the ice.
Now Turgeon crossed the line on right wing, drops it back. Here's Housley to Ledyard into the slot. He shoots Fitzpatrick to save, and it's batted out of the air by Nyland. He hit it with a high stick, so play is called, and they'll face off in the circle to the left of Fitzpatrick. And Jimmy McDonough ended up dumping it down the ice. And once he touched it after Nyland had batted it out of the air, he got the whistle.
Here's the opportunity for the Buffalo Sabres. Housley redirects the pass. What a stop here, but out of position now is Fitzpatrick. And there's a hard shot that bounced up high in the air. Nyland knocked it out of the air with a high stick. Hughie McDonough touched it. That stopped the play. At the other end of the ice, what a chance for Brent Sutter in a shorthanded situation. And Darren Pupa, comes up with a fine stop off Sutter.
Buffalo winning the draw, getting the puck back to Housley. The shot was just missed. Molino was hit behind the net. Nyland knocked it away from him. There's Rutu chasing it down. Rutu set up McGillney to the blue line to Housley. Over to McGillney. McGillney shoots. That's deflected. Maloney whacked at it. Made contact and got it back inside the Buffalo zone. 7 seconds remaining in Diddick's penalty. 2 shots on goal for the Sabres with the man advantage. Housley brings them over the line. Shoots. That's deflected way up into the seats. Off the end zone scoreboard. But it kills the penalty to Diddick. And the Sabres are 0 for 4 with the man advantage in this game.
Islanders doing a good job. It's important to have your specialty teams in games such as this. Well, actually in all games, but against a team like Buffalo that has lost only twice so far this season at home, you do not want to give up any goals on the specialty team, the penalty killing unit for the Islanders. Doug Crossman again playing a fine game defensively.
If the Islanders were to hold on and win this game tonight, it would give them 34 points, 10 more than where they finished the first half of last season. Think of that dry period, that losing streak that they were involved with early on, and then turned it around here in December. Come a long way, baby.
Yes, they have. Nhl Rs now a little over a year into his second coaching stint with the Islanders.
Buffalo has just iced the puck that Patrick lets it go. Well, Sabres, Nuggerud got to it first. No whistle. Here's Arneal playing it back into the Islanders zone. Sabres will start it up again from their own territory. Ramsey here on the left side has fed it to Arneal. Arneal turned around. Pollock turned him around and flatly bumped him. Same problem the Sabres had in the second period, the transition through center ice. Now Arneal with it. Dumps it in this time. That's LaFontaine. Moves it to the right wing boards for Flatley, and down the ice it goes. Gibbs just does not get across the goal line. That's a pretty good English.
Well, actually, it's the way it goes in, Jake. If it goes in on that right angle, as it did, sometimes won't go across the line. It just hits in the corner and comes directly lateral to the line.
Well, the Islanders playing around the boards. Up the left side is held in. Kennedy's shot is blocked by Diddick. David Pollock steps in front of McGuire. He still got the shot away, and Fitzpatrick got a chunk of that. McGuire over on right wing, bumped by Pollock. Rockers found it back to the blue line. Kennedy with a shot that was wide. Gerald Diddick tries the right wing boards, and Flatley got it around Roger. Shoots it right back in. Sabres regain the blue line. 3 minutes has ticked off here in the final period. Islanders 3, Sabres 2. Islanders clears the zone, and Dean Kennedy shoots it back in again.
Sounds like a rifle range out here. These guys shooting the puck back and forth, off the glass, off the board.
Islanders, Jimmy McDonough moves it to center ice for the pass to John Maloney. Dumps it in, right to Pupa. Roger feeding the right side to Snuggerud. Cross ice, Metcalf tips it to the Islanders blue line, and Doug Crossman is there. Crossman, long shot from the center is wide of Pupa. Kennedy will pick it up. King got a piece of him, and Turgeon just clears it outside the Buffalo line. LaFontaine coming back has given it to Crossman. Now to Alan Kerr. Got it into the Buffalo zone. There's Dean Kennedy. And trying to get their Sabres going, but to give the puck away. Kerr's shot hit the outside of the net. A wraparound for LaFontaine off the skate and wide. Turgeon gave it to McGuire, and the Islanders are forced to chase it. Crossman, with time to spare, gets back. Andrechuk chasing behind the net, and up comes the Islander defenseman with a good pass for Eric King. Over the line with LaFontaine, who picks it up now, but it's jumped off his stick. Ramsey plays it back along the boards. Here's Ronstrand. Ronstrand trying to center when it came in front of the net. Here's King, and it's knocked off his stick. Good play by Andrechuk. And Turgeon just clears it high in the air. King knocked it down. Can't recover. Mike Foligno slams it down into the Islanders zone. Back on the play. Jeff Morton took a heavy hit. Andrechuk nailed him, but the Islanders are able to clear the zone with it. Bauer can't pick it up in center ice. Sutter does. Brent Sutter shooting it into the Buffalo zone, but it's offside. Face off in the center ice area. Ann Arbor has his forward line of Brent Sutter, Randy Wood, and Brad Lauer out there. My favorite. For Buffalo, Rutu centers for McGillney and Vine. Ronstrand playing on the right side of the defense. Norton on the left. That's Norton dumping it in. Lauer goes in after it. Goes to Brent Sutter. He's pushed off the puck, and Rutu recovers. Christian Rutu would cross ice, but between Housley and McGillney, so the Sabres have to go back again.
You hear Ray Campanella, the linesman, yell no as he puts his arms out to say safe. He's waving off any icing.
McBride is checked in his own zone by Wood, but still able to shovel it down into the Islander territory. Ronstrand lost it to McGillney, and he ties up the Buffalo player momentarily. Sutter got tripped up. Now able to pass to Bodger in deep. Around a sliding Norton. Bodger goes from behind the net, puts it out in front. That's cleared away, and down the ice it goes. This will be an icing against the Islanders. Still 14 minutes and about 20 seconds to play in the third period.
Detroit Red Wings, let's go to the last chance here. Coming in, watch Jeff Norton as he goes down. That's the only time you have to be careful if the defenseman hangs onto the puck. Here's the puck back out in front of the net, cleared away by Norton. The defenseman Smartin hangs onto the puck. Look out, everything can happen then.
Now Bakota holds the puck at the Buffalo line, but offside. He had to go back for it. On Hasseltine with an explanation.
It was a 3-1 score last we boarded the New Jersey Devils and the Detroit Red Wings. Muller had scored for the fourth goal for the New Jersey Devils, but then Chason, Zombo, and Habscheid all scored for Detroit, and that's tied at 4 apiece.
And here the Islanders with a 1-goal lead. Glad you're able to join us on Sports Channel tonight. A little less than 3 hours from midnight on the East Coast. Your time zone at least. Hitting with a shot. Bad save by Pupa. He cleared it away from Bakota. Maloney in after it. Puts it in front. There's Ledyard. McDonough knocked it off his stick. Got it to Maloney. Played it behind McDonough. Out comes Arneal now. Arneal and Ledyard. Arneal elects to dump it in. Merrill Dinnick back on the play. Lifts it up ahead. Out of the reach of Bakota. These boards, the glass actually a little strange. The way the puck bounces off them. Worked a game here a couple of weeks ago with former Buffalo goalkeeper Don Edwards, and he was pointing out just exactly the problems that a visiting team can get into. Here's McDonough with a backhander. You don't know the glass and the way the struts are, and the fact that there is no ledge, absolutely no ledge on the dasher, no work for the linesmen to pull themselves up on to get out of the play. Puck gets up there and does crazy things. Fontaine puts it back at the Buffalo goal, and the Sabres start out with it. Dean Kennedy works it through center. Missed everybody, and this is going to be an icing against Buffalo. We're down to 12 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the third period. On the face-off, the Sabres up with the puck. Krupp gave it to Turgeon, and he was met by both LaFontaine and Flatley. But on comes Krupp over the line to Andrechuk, and the pass tipped away neatly by Crossman. Fontaine plays it around to the right side. Crossman checked by Ramsey, who was pinching in, goes in a little deeper, but Crossman recovers the puck. Banks it off the boards. Turgeon with it out at center ice. Gave it to Krupp. Pass off Foligno's stick. Covered by Flatley, and then he couldn't get it to Pollock in time. Krupp goes to Foligno. He gives it away to Flatley at center ice. Good checking job here by the Islanders.
Yes, the Islanders are covering everything in the center ice area, and as you pointed out, Jakes, they cannot get things geared up offensively, particularly just inside their own blue line or through the center ice area. The Islanders are covering well. They're checking well. See Pollock on Ramsey. Now Krupp with a pass to Turgeon. He gave it to Foligno. Andrechuk couldn't do anything at the Islander line. And Sutter, fine job tying up Turgeon and then playing the puck down into the Buffalo zone. Lauer is in after it. And Lauer kicks it away from Krupp. Got it to Randy Wood. Wood centers. Sutter puts it into the corner. Lupa goes out of the net. Krupp there to bail him out on the play. Now Ronstrand pinches in. Got the puck away from Turgeon. It ends up in the far corner. That's Doug Bodger. Lined up and checked by Sutter. Brent Sutter. Knocked down finally by Foligno's check. Sutter back on his skates. This is where games are won and lost. The battles along the wall. And the Islanders have been winning most of them tonight. Yes, they have. And what they're doing, and they're smart to do it, is they're sending one man in and the other guy holds up, the other forward. And if he has an opportunity, as they did there, to send the other one in, they do. But most of the time, the Islanders just satisfied now to put a lot of pressure on with one forechecker, and it's bottling up the Buffalo Sabres. We were giving you the scores from out of town. New Jersey Devils were tied by the Detroit Red Wings at 4 apiece. Detroit has scored again. Lee Norwood has given Detroit now a 1-goal lead in that hockey game, 5-4.
How about the way the Rangers lost today to Pittsburgh? Apparently the tying goal came man short when they didn't need to be, and then Pittsburgh won it. Beat the Rangers 5-4. The beat goes on. The Rangers, 1 win, 9 losses, 3 ties in their last 13 games.
Yes, they've won, I think, only 7 of their last 29.
The Islanders trying to win here in Buffalo. Be their 8th road win. Still just over 10 minutes to play as Clyde shot one way wide of the net, and Alan Kerr picks it up at center ice. Kerr. Pass went behind LaFontaine. King waits for Kerr to get back onside. And then Ramsey is knocked down, and there'll be a penalty on Alan Kerr. It'll be an interference call. LaFontaine and Housley pushing and shoving at one another. Referee Magoo over to take a look at a potential hot spot, but nothing develops. Buffalo will go to the power play.
No question that he had interfered with the Buffalo player. Sometimes I think they're better overlooked at both sides, and it's not a strong complaint, a mild one. I think that Mike Huff has done a pretty good job in the hockey game. He's allowed the players at most of the time to dictate the outcome.
Now Buffalo with their 5th power play opportunity, and Turgeon handles the puck. Drive to the side of the net along with Andrechuk. Ledyard giving it right back to Pierre Turgeon. Housley blows in, and the pass was just out of his reach. John Maloney nudges it on into the Buffalo zone.
It's a good play, Jake, when it works, but you can see what would happen if you had a speedster out there as a penalty killer, and that doesn't work. Sometimes you see breakaways occur from that same play.
Yeah, they would have had everybody trapped in the Islanders zone in that play. Now Sutter clears it down the board. Buffalo out shooting the Islanders 32-24. They did most of their shooting, if you want to look at the difference in totals, in the first period. They outshot the Islanders 16-5. It was 15-12. Islanders shots on goal in the second period. Shots can be misleading in scoring chances. Really, Buffalo had their best chances in the first period. Now the puck in, center one to Andrechuk. Loose in front, picked up by Sutter. And Sutter clears the zone. 48 seconds left in Kerr's interference penalty.
If you're looking for a reason or a person to tab for the improvement of the Islanders penalty killer, look no further than Brent Sutter in one instance.
Here's Foligno setting up for Buffalo. And McDonough's given them a fine effort as well since arriving in that trade with Los Angeles. Roger holds it in. The pass to McGillney went cross ice. It bounced away from Housley. He's able to move it on now to Ruchu. Ruchu, cross ice. McGillney can't trap the pass. Picks it up. Went to center one. Blocked by McDonough. McDonough ties up McGillney. Roger held it at the blue line. Turned it over. And Diddick fires it down the ice. Still 10 seconds to go in Kerr's penalty.
Fans starting to get on the power play of the Buffalo Sabres. Fine move by Housley.
He's over the Islander blue line, controlling the puck. Kerr steps out of the penalty box now as Ruchu failed to tap one into the short corner. Roger can't get to it at center ice. Alan Kerr does. Not a shot on goal with that man advantage for Buffalo. And here's a chance for Kerr, denied by Krupa. Alan Kerr centers one. Nobody there for the Islanders. They're in the middle of a player change. Dean Kennedy gets to center ice. Backhands the puck deep into the Islanders zone. Just over 6 minutes to go in the third period. Excuse me, make it 8 minutes. There's a light that's out, and it is just, well, it comes to 2 minutes, folks. The difference is 7 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the third period now. They resolve to get that goal. Lakota brings the puck into the center ice area. That's not one of my 19 resolutions, though. Here's LaFontaine chasing a loose puck. Ramsey plays it up the board. Comes back to Nyland. His shot from the point went wide. Crossman comes in off the opposite point. Got it to King. Off his stick. There's Ramsey. Mike Ramsey turning. Giving it to Dean Kennedy. Dakota, LaFontaine, and King were in forechecking, and now Hogue gets into the Islanders zone, but goes in offside, and there's no further play. On the face-off, the Sabres put the puck in the Islanders zone, and there's Gary Nyland clearing it right back into center. Roop, Ledyard. Metcalf. He jumped it in. Ludwig goes in after it. Rick Dudley getting his fourth line into the game now. They have not seen any ice time here in the third period. He's content to go with 3 lines.
I was figuring that the Islanders played last night, that he's hoping if he can put a little extra pressure on with the fourth line, a fresh line, might get the Islanders to give up the center ice area and then move the Islanders back into their end of the ice. And it seems to be right now working, but they're giving the puck up to the Islanders who just whip it around and try and get it back into the center ice area.
Just like that. Housley back on it and giving it to Ledger. Up to Ludwig, knocked away by Diddick. Lino standing at the center ice stripe, put it on Flatley's stick, and Flatley is knocked down, and here's Metcalf. Pass found its way to Turgeon. Foligno drops it back, and Volek cleared the zone. Another good play had it worked. David Volek.
So important to know where to go when you don't have the puck, and Volek knew where to go that time and read the play perfectly.
Now Turgeon centers one in front. Andrechuk couldn't reach around Diddick. Roger held it in, and Gerald Diddick plays it up the boards to Patrick Flatley. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third period. It's the Islanders 3, the Sabres 2 as Turgeon comes over the line. Pierre Turgeon can't get around Diddick. Played the puck through him, and it's scooped up and held by Mark Fitzpatrick.
What is it that you're not going to do next year? You haven't given us any hints as to some of the resolutions you're going to make for this coming.
Well, I stayed up most of the night working on a list. Ended up with 19 things I was going to resolve to do, and then tore up the list.
Well, give me the first 2 then. So
I can't remember them.
Important. Oh, you're going to back out now, are you?
No, I changed my mind, actually. I decided the only thing I was going to resolve to do in 90 is something new or different every week. And the way I look at it, one thing out of the norm, for me, which is hard to determine, I know, but one thing out of the norm every week. That's what, 168 hours in a week?
Well,
that's not bad. I should be able to live up to that, huh?
Well, listen, I'm listening.
Well, I'll let you know what
No, you've resolved to do something every week.
Uh-huh.
But
something new and different.
But you're going to keep doing all of the things you've always done, so you're not going to give up anything. You're going to start to do more.
Kidding? Change this lifestyle?
Well, I don't blame you.
Foligno with a drive right on from the bottom of that face-off circle, and Fitzpatrick withstood it. The Islanders clear the puck to center ice. Knocked down with a high stick. Housley touches it, and there's the whistle. 5 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third period. Portions of tonight's game have been brought to you by EAB. EAB, the bank for Long Islanders, where you belong.
Right from the face-off, Mike Foligno has a scoring opportunity. Good positioning by the goaltender, Fitzpatrick.
Fast, wasn't it?
Wow. Did you notice how he bent his stick as he shot the puck at the goaltender?
You'd like to see it again? Quick draw?
Yeah.
No, what I meant with that resolution of doing something different, I mean like a different zoo, a different museum, different place, different restaurant. Ramsey blocking a shot has been shaken up. Back into the plane. Brad Lauer feeds the blue line. That's Norton centering one off the pads of Pupa. Brent Sutter with a backhander that deflected wide. This is Lauer. Ramsey got to him, and Sutter is taken to the boards by Krupp. Sutter moving the puck, however. It's back on his skates. Look at this job by Randy Wood, not Brent Sutter. Sutter now to the front of the net. In comes Wood. Grounds the net on the backhander. Pupa the save. Another shot. Pupa, another dazzling save. Oh, my.
Being in the right place at the right time, no matter how he got there, he made a rebound save. Darren Pupa, Randy Wood from around the net gets a scoring chance, and a rebound. Pupa went down and made another one.
4 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the third period at Buffalo. It's the Islanders 3, the Sabres 2. LaFontaine denied by Pupa, and the puck is batted up in the air and lands in front of Alan Kerr. Andrechuk tying him up. Here's Housley for Buffalo, playing it around the boards. Bodger gets to it. Doug Bodger feeds Connor Neal. Now up to Snuggerud. Drives it in around the boards of the Islanders zone. Fitzpatrick hits it to the Bomber. Ken Baumgartner off the right wing boards to Kerr. Pass tip right back to King. Up the middle to LaFontaine. Comes in. Shoots. It scores! That's 3 for LaFontaine. It's only the second hat trick by an Islander this season, and more importantly, a 2-goal lead for the Islanders. with 4 minutes remaining in the third period, and Mom and Dad are here at the game, and I'm sure they enjoyed this.
Beautiful timing. Pass to LaFontaine. Takes it on the backhand, holds it on the 4, and then rips it into the far side to the left of goaltender Darren Pupa. Fine play. The Islanders getting the puck. Here's Pat LaFontaine. You can see what he can see, and he puts it in. He faked to the right side, went to the left, and the Islanders have a 2-goal lead with just over 4 minutes remaining in the hockey game. A hat trick for Pat LaFontaine and a 2-goal lead for the Islanders.
John and Joy LaFontaine from the Detroit, Michigan area and to watch their son tonight. 33 goals now. It's 31 in the first, 32 in the second, and 33 in the third period to make it 4-2.
And that goal is going to cost the New York Islanders $1,000 to the American Paralysis Association. Henry Stifel will be very happy with that. That goes to research for spinal injuries. Pat LaFontaine, what a beautiful pass he took and raced in all alone from the blue line.
The Islanders on this 3-2-game trip hoping to get a couple of points. 4 would have been one thing, but a lot of people said no, impossible when you're going into Buffalo the way they're playing at home. I think everybody expected at least a point out of Quebec last night. Buffalo is top 5 here. The Islanders, I mentioned earlier, playing back-to-back games for the 9th time this season. If they're to win tonight, it would be their 3rd win against 6 losses on the 2nd night of the back-to-back.
The assists on the goal go to Kerr and King. They sprung Pat LaFontaine loose. The Islanders were very close to getting the 2-goal lead when Randy Wood charged out from behind the net, took a shot, stopped by Pupa, and then the rebound, he hammered away. Pupa was down and made the save, but Pat LaFontaine made no mistake.
Randy Wood over on the left side of the ice, comes to center, gave the puck to Brent Sutter, but ahead of the play is Lauer, and that's offside. Still 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the third period. By the way, as you look at Rick Dudley, the Islander farm team, the Springfield Indians, beat Halifax again last night. Back-to-back wins over the Halifax Citadels, and they're in Rochester tonight, so things picking up there. Ron Hasseltine corrected my pronunciation of his name during the playoffs after all these years. Did you just change it? No, I just got around to telling you.
What were you using?
Hasseltine.
And you don't pronounce the S?
No. That's Hasseltine.
Hasseltine.
As you had always said it was. I don't know why I didn't listen to him. Southern resolution, we're up to 20. I could never find, I should never have torn up the original there. Sutter plays the puck back into the Buffalo zone.
I didn't know you were mispronouncing his name.
You didn't know what, I'm sorry?
I didn't know you were mispronouncing Ron's name.
Oh, yeah. Alfie puts the puck in the Islanders' zone. Fitzpatrick steers it to Crossman. Roger holding it at the point. Rutu sets up 5, and Fitzpatrick got a piece of that. 35 shots on goal now for Buffalo. The Islanders have 30, 10 in this third period. Alfie rounds the net. New Year's Eve celebration has been dimmed a little bit here at the Memorial Auditorium. The Islanders come in.
Only the only the Boston Bruins. Look out here.
Now Fitzpatrick makes the save on Duggamoot, and then Turgeon and Baumgartner, and Turgeon's going to turtle. He'll just cover and play no part in this. He got it started and then ducked.
He came back after Ken Baumgartner as if he had wanted to get into a tangle with him, but that ended quickly. Only the Boston Bruins have defeated the Buffalo Sabres here in this building. Here's the play, dangerously, coming out from the side of the net. That's Snuggerud. His shot is stopped by Fitzpatrick. He gets a hold of the puck, and in front of the net, Baumgartner making a cover. Boom, you can just see the actions of the feet as Turgeon goes after the head of Ken Baumgartner. Turgeon fell to the ice and then covered up. So Baumgartner goes, Turgeon goes. They're having quite a conversation right now.
Baumgartner originally drafted by the Buffalo Sabres. And there's number 1 pick a couple of years ago. Has he ever blossomed? What a hockey player.
Yeah, still only 20 years of age. A first-round pick. Played for the Granby Bisons in the Quebec Hockey League.
17:54, the time of roughing penalties to the Bomber and Pierre Turgeon. The Islanders home on Tuesday against the Los Angeles Kings. Look, McDonough, Baumgartner, Patrick. On and on the list of former Los Angeles Kings goes with the Islanders. Kelly Rudy, Nico Makala. I know I shouldn't overlook Doug Crossman. Didn't mean to, but the Islanders and the Kings on Tuesday night. Here's Flatley dealing a pass. Rutu made a weak effort to get it to Ramsey, and Flatley right on it. Flatley tying it up on the boards. Don Maloney pinches in now and helps out. We have a minute and a half to go. The New Year's Eve celebration for the Islanders isn't that far away, is it?
No, if they can hold on to the 2-goal lead, it'll be a pleasant plane ride for the Islanders back to Long Island, albeit it's a very short one, but being a 7 o'clock game, they'll be probably just touching down back in Long Island about the time the ball drops in Times Square. Timeout has been called by Buffalo. The Islanders currently with 32 points. They're back of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who won today. They have 35. New Jersey Devils now behind Detroit. They had a chance to break a 3-way tie between Washington, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. Philadelphia they're in Vancouver, isn't it?
Yeah, they play the Canucks out there. That game will get underway in about a half hour.
Well, the Islanders holding on to a 2-goal lead here. If they can maintain that, they'll be within 6 points of first place. And then, of course, it'll be up to the Philadelphia Flyers to see whether or not they can maintain that.
And this will give the Islanders 34 to the Penguins 35, the Rangers 37, dealing from the bottom to the top. And you've got right now Washington, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, not taking into account tonight's games, but you got those 3 teams tied with 40 each.
Someone just telling me, Jiggs, that it's 6-4 now. Detroit has scored. Sounds like an empty net goal. 6-4. Detroit has defeated the New Jersey Devils. Gerard Gallant getting the 6th goal for Detroit.
Okay. Here, LaFontaine, who has 3, wins the faceoff from Andrechuk. See what the Sabres do after taking that 30-second timeout. Reno dumps it in from center, and it skipped off the boards, went wide as Fitzpatrick had started out.
Boy, you think at 2 goals down, they'd have the goaltender out by now, but he's still there as the puck gets shot down into the Buffalo end of the ice.
A couple of times he made a little stutter step towards the bench and then stayed up. Now he's coming to the bench as Hogue dumps it in. The Buffalo goal is empty, and Foligno went after the puck. They get 5 out as the extra attacker here. 54 seconds remaining in the third period. This is Andrechuk. From back of the net, tried to stuff it in. 5 shot is blocked and covered by Fitzpatrick. And the scramble is on as the puck comes loose. And Fitzpatrick reaches out and covers it. Fontaine sitting on the deck, but 5 is all over one of the blue-clad Islanders.
Pat LaFontaine is sitting on the ice in a rather awkward position. That's because the puck is near him. And here, Andrechuk turns and comes back out from the side of the net. There's Rick Vive. His shot was partially deflected. Housley is in, and LaFontaine goes down on the ice trying to protect it. The puck is still loose. Coming out from the side is Hogue, 33, but the puck is underneath LaFontaine's legs. And they finally get a stoppage of play with 41 seconds remaining in the third period. Rick Vive hasn't been out on the ice a great deal in the third period.
No, he hasn't, but he had a great opportunity when he came out as the extra man. You look at Fitzpatrick, there are a lot of ways to figure save percentage. The one I like best is how many shots average, how many shots to get one by him. In his case, 9.8 coming into the game tonight and only 2 goals against on 38 shots. That'll improve to well over 10. But in the save percentage used by the league and the official stats, it'll be 9 something or other, 0.9 tick, tick, tick.
Got to make it complicated.
34 seconds remaining in the third period as Foligno missed the puck at the Islander blue line. Patrick Flatley gives it to Sutter. Lost it, and Housley dumps it in. Here's Gerald Jiddick. Couldn't clear it out. Andrechuk banks it off the boards out of the reach of Polino. Islands tries the left side. That's Rutu pinching in. 16 seconds to go. Sutter hand passes it behind the net. Legal. It comes down in front. Good stop by Fitzpatrick. Here's 5, and he mishandles the puck. There's a penalty call coming on the Islanders. 7 seconds remaining. And an interference call indicated by that man, Mike Magoo.
I believe it's on Brent Sutter, who was in front of the net with Andrechuk. Andrechuk went to the deck, went down heavily. Take a look as the Islanders, Buffalo with an extra man. What a good stop here. And Fitzpatrick doesn't know whether to grab the stick or go for the puck. He grabs for the stick, and Buffalo maintains possession, but Sutter gets an interference penalty with 7 seconds remaining, and the faceoff will be just inside the Islanders' blue line.
While it is only 7 seconds, it does count as a power play opportunity. 39 shots for the Sabres, 30 for the Islanders. Pat LaFontaine has 3 goals. Jari Gronstrand has 1. For Buffalo, the goal scorers are Live and Arneal. Hoopa is on the ice. They realize they can't tie it, I guess, in the final 7 seconds. Roger cranks one right on goal. Fitzpatrick making his 38th save of the night. And 2 seconds is all that's left in the decade of the 80s.
What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose if you take the goaltender out with a face-off in the center or inside the Islanders' blue line? In that case, they'd have had the extra man on. Maybe they wouldn't have gained the possession of the puck. But listen, it's worth a try. What happens if it doesn't work? Exactly. You lose by 3, or you lose by 2, or you lose by whatever.
Well, the Islanders will get a split on this 2-game road trip, losing to the last-place team in the league and beating the first-place team in the league. You like that contrast? How about that? The New York Islanders spend New Year's Eve with a 4-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres and will head home for the celebration. They pulled to within a point of the Pittsburgh Penguins again.